today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to be looking at another product from our friends at NUX, and today it is the Horseman. And the Beard is going to tell you a little bit about this pedal and a little bit about our relationship with NUX and how they've been kind to the show.
I think last time we talked about this pedal, we won't go into that.
Right.
You called it the mythical pedal, right?
Yeah,
so, yes.
Probably, yes.
Yeah, so this is the Horseman, which is kind of based on the Centaur leg pedal. And right away, I just want to send out a shout out to Keith Williams at
5 Watt World.
5 Watt World, who did just an absolutely excellent video recently on the history of the Klon and went through the whole Klon thing. So if you want to know more about that, that's the place to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a Klon style pedal, a Klon clone, if you will. Interesting in that has both the gold and the silver. The gold, it's more like the 9-volt. And then when you kick it to the silver mode, I think it kind of internally regulates to 18 volt or it mimics that or something.
Gives it more headroom.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Does. In the opening clip was playing that, and then if you look on the guitar and on the amp, this is just because we like to, Pat likes to amuse me, had the wireless, NUX wireless system on. We did a video on this a while ago too. You were picking on me because I had headphones on.
Yeah, I had a wireless cable for the guitar, but then he had the cans on with the cable because he has to move from over there to the desk. And
well, yeah, in my defense, like when you're doing the lights, the amp, the sound, everything, not having the cord on the guitar was really nice. And we found that the system is really nice using down here, and you've used it on stage.
Yeah,
and it works very well.
It does.
So. A couple other things from NUX over the last year.
They sent us the mini studio when they sent us the Rocktory. We had the Rocktory as part of our That Leslie sound.
Right. Both great. So, as it stands, everything we've gotten from NUX we like. I think the Horseman is no exception. So, let's jump into the Horseman, talk a little bit about that, get some sounds out of it. It is, I said it, a Klon style pedal.
Right.
And I wouldn't call us Klon style pedal users.
Right.
We're definitely not Klon users because
we don't have $6,000.
Right.
For that.
So we make no pretense about knowing what a real Klon sounds like. Mm-hmm. So we're going to come at this from the standpoint of, do we like the pedal? Not
how close does it get to a real Klon?
Right. One of the things when you think Klon style pedal you think about is an amp on the edge of breakup. Right before the edge, on the edge of breakup, using the Klon pedal to kind of push it into breakup. And then the dynamics you get out of your picking, right? So lighter picking, less dirt, digging a little bit harder, more dirt. And we'll kind of get into that in a little bit. But that's kind of one of the things we're looking for. And then just overall, how does the pedal sound? We have a that's drive level. No, drive treble. That's what I said.
Yes. Treble.
An output. And then if you press the foot switch and hold it, you can switch between the gold and the silver. When the light comes on at the top, we're in silver. When the light goes out, we're in gold. And so, probably starting with the reference down.
Yeah, Revolta Mondata 8 through the Tyler Ampworks JT22. Using the middle pickup. Reverb as per usual, and that's it.
A quick aside, a lot of people don't like, I hear from some people they don't like 3 pickup guitars because that middle pickup gets in the way. Mm-hmm. But the middle pickup is magical. On this guitar. It
is.
Especially with the drive pedal.
So I have it set that I'll probably go middle and then maybe bridge, depending on what we do. We'll see.
So, do you want to run the drive first?
Yeah.
So, let's just do this. We have the output just maybe a hair over noon. The treble's about noon. I'll let you play, kick the pedal on so we can hear what it's like with 0 drive. Mm-hmm. And then I'll roll that the whole way around in gold. And then we'll go back, maybe pause, and then go back to silver.
Okay. loud.
It did get loud. It's interesting. There seems to be two camps. There's the camp of like the Klon is used with no drive on it or real low drive on it to push other pedals and to push the amp. And then there's the camp that seems to like pulling the drive up. I thought it sounded good when we had no drive on it. We clicked it on, pushed the front of the amp a little bit. But then when we started rolling it up, there were spots in there too that I was like, well, I really like that.
Yeah, so it got like a little more sparkly, a little more dynamic without drive. And then as the drive kept coming in, there was parts that was kind of woolly and flubby, and then it kind of tightened up, sounded really good. And then probably at the end, even though I'm a Gainiac, probably a little bit much. But in that sweep, there were a couple spots that I thought.
And we could have pulled volume back and changed treble and stuff like that. So we'll kick it to the silver side. Do the same thing.
Okay.
Gets a little loud.
It does get loud, but the clarity was there. So that was more of the 18 volt, correct?
Mm-hmm. It's the silver side.
Which we've never done that on the show. There's several pedals that we're aware that can go 18 volt and never done it, but every time I hear it, I like it. So it's really cool that you can do that with that pedal. Because I thought there was a clarity the whole way through that.
And I'm not...
And now
I feel like I should have done more research. I'm not exactly sure when you go to... The literature I read said something about going 18, but I don't know if there's like a doubler in there or how they're doing that. I think the original Klon did do that. Like you put a 9 volt in and it would double it inside. And if I'm wrong, and anybody with that,
we just try to generate comments. Right. But again, one guitar, one pickup, one amp, and just switched one knob, right? But you could hear the difference. And for that Tyler amp, that second setting with the higher voltage, if you will, I thought was a nice match.
Yeah, I mean, didn't we? If we take that, I guess the question is, with the Tyler amp sitting right before breakup, you're not getting much grit out of it.
Right.
Then we kick on the gold, and then kick it up to silver, maybe the same riff or something different. But just kind of go back and forth between that a couple times.
All right.
Off, gold, silver. Just to see the difference there, I think would be interesting.
All right. Maybe play something different. I don't know.
I really like the sound of this pedal with rhythm.
I do. Again, with the combination we've got going here, which is kind of, we try to eliminate variables. So you'll see this quite often. I think it sounds great.
And when I say I like it with rhythm, doesn't mean I don't like it with lead, because when I did that opening thing, I think in the beginning, maybe it was rolling the volume knob a little bit, but there was a part in the middle, I think when I flipped to the bridge pickup, where I just started picking lighter, and I really liked the difference there. So one thing we could maybe do, we could go back to the gold and maybe do some single stuff like heavy picking, light picking, and then switch to silver with heavy picking, light picking.
Okay.
Just to see what that's like.
All right.
I know you're trying to over...
Right, and I'm trying not to palm mute. A lot of times when I pick lighter, I palm mute. I was thinking way too much.
Try not to overemphasize it, but yeah, I mean, you can hear that. The last experiment that I kind of like to do with it, and notice we didn't run the treble knob, we didn't run the volume knob, and maybe, hopefully we don't upset with that, because I think you can tweak that to your amp, to your situation.
Yeah, your playing style.
I think the big thing here is how's it pushing the front of the amp and how much gain is on it. So the last experiment I'd kind of like to play with is on the show forever, since the first episode of the channel. We've had a direct drive, seems to pop up on almost every episode. Recently, we upgraded to the direct drive version 4 from Barber Electronics. And so let's do that same kind of experiment. I'll turn on the direct drive, play just direct drive, hit it with the gold, no gain, hit it with the silver, no gain, back to the direct drive by itself, roll the gain up on the clon, hit it with the gold, hit it with the silver.
All right.
So, direct drive.
I like what it did. I like the higher voltage. And maybe it's because something my ear's not used to hearing, but it just brings... I'm more cognizant about a mix sound since doing this show than I ever was before. I always like biggest, fattest, woolliest, like gnarly. And now I start listening a little bit differently. And so when you can flip that to the perceived higher voltage, it brings some tonal characteristics and clarity to that I really like the way they interacted with each other. Because when we plugged the direct drive in, I'm like, oh, that sounds great. And then when you stack the clon on top of it and went to the higher voltage with a little bit of the gain, you know, even without the gain, there was a noticeable difference in the tone. But with maybe you were at a gain at like a third or something. I don't know where you were.
Yeah, like 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I thought it sounded really big and beefy, but still had a clarity to it.
And then at the very end, I had pushed up a little bit more. But I think at that point, you'd have to start
something.
Maybe backing the drive off. And I think if we look at the Barber, we have it on the high gain side.
Because we can.
But if you were really going to start using these two in conjunction, you might go to the low gain side of the Barber. So you can kind of push that. Yeah.
Right.
Or that magical 4 input selection in the middle. So one last thing, feature set of the pedal is the fact that it can be run either true bypass or buffered bypass. So the way that you set that up is real simple. Unplug the pedal, hold down the switch, plug it back in. That light blinked red. That means it's in true bypass. Pull it out again. Hold down the button. Plug it back in. That light blinked green. It means it's in buffered bypass. That's all there's to it.
Right. It's always good to have a buffer.
So, that's a Horseman. Just thank you to NUX for sending that out to us. We really appreciate it. They're making great stuff. They're making affordable stuff. You don't need $5,000 to buy. Right. And you're not throwing away $50 on Wish.
Right. That might come in a month or 5 weeks or 6 weeks.
Right.
Although Tyler Larson's video about that was interesting. We're playing our hand here. But yeah, you're right. Like,
right. You don't have to do that.
They should call it hope. I hope it comes.
I wish it's as good as it says it's going to be.
That's right.
We know nothing about that pedal, so or that I know nothing about that whole thing. I guess it's not a company, but that whole site.
Right.
But NUX, I think, and a lot of the other, should we say that? I feel like a lot of the other branded pedals you get have NUX components to them. Like they're, so I don't know. Great company doing great things. We really like them.
They've been kind to us.
Yeah. So with that, we just like to take a moment, pause, thank everybody that's watching, hitting the subscribe button, hitting the notifications, clicking on likes, clicking the like button if you don't want to subscribe, but clicking the like button really helps out. And stopping out to Instagram or Facebook and things like that. Anytime you communicate with us, it just helps make the channel a little better so we know what people want. Even those negative comments.
That's right. There's no such thing as bad press.
So with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.
everybody.
Everybody. It's an all-state. The mother sheep